Welcome back again to MIPTALK, Conversations with the World's Most Interesting People. We're at the 2010 Innovation in Humanities Summit at Chapman University Leatherby Center. It is my pleasure to welcome our guest who's speaking with us briefly today, Erich Kreidler. Eric's the Senior Director for Global Relationship Management at UST Global. And Erich, I want to begin by talking a little bit about why you are here today at the summit, what benefits and insights you're looking to glean, and then specifically in your area of expertise, ways in which you are leading the charge for innovation in the business force with your enterprise clients in your business.
Innovation in humanity is something that I have a passion for. It's one of the causes of my life. Mm-hmm. The several things that we're doing in terms of leading, for example, a trend, and in terms of global outsourcing, in terms of bringing some of the things from different countries and leveraging them in how we cultivate sustainable innovation in the United States mm-hmm. is critical. An example that I gave in the panel was that in the 50s, in California, we developed and we produced Lawrencium, and we produced Californium, we produced Berkelium. So if you think about it, as early as in the 50s, we were in the leading edge of innovation.
Sure.
So how do we take that leading edge innovation and then circle it back in a way such that it becomes sustainable for humanity as a whole? And seeing and talking to all the different people within the panels, within the tables that we're sharing, it is giving us a more holistic point of view as to how to achieve that.
One of the things that I think is particularly interesting is the idea that so much discussion is given how entrepreneurs innovate, and there isn't a notion that corporations really can innovate because they're too entrenched in a particular way of thinking. Their focus is often primarily profitability. And I'm interested a little bit in your perspective on, can entrepreneurs exist within established hierarchies and within established companies, or do you have to be that dreamer who works in a garage and comes up with a great idea? Speak on that, if you would, a little bit.
Well, that's an interesting point, and I think it happens a little bit of both. You have companies, for example, like Google, which happen to be pretty large companies by now.
Absolutely.
And they are on the leading edge of innovation. You pick a company like Microsoft, who about 20, 30 years ago was a true global innovator, and it started falling behind. On the other hand, you have companies like General Electric, who's been around for 100 years, and continues to bring cutting-edge developments in the world. So you're going to find a little bit of both. Entrepreneurs have the benefit of having a lot of freedom, so they can play, they can experiment, they can do all sorts of things that in many cases you're limited. You have limitations in a corporate setting.
And they can also fail without worrying about quarterly earnings and things of that nature as well. I think the idea that when the greater the risk, the greater the reward. So.
Yes, I agree. And by the way, entrepreneurs, especially if you're starting up, if you fail, that means that you're not bringing home the bacon tomorrow. Right? So it's more than just the ability to fail, but it's also the having to swim to stay alive.
Sure.
And that can take you through so many hurdles, and it can just catapult you into a different type of thinking. They say that need is the mother of innovation, mm-hmm. and entrepreneurs, when you have to, by hook or crook, make that new device work, for example, it is a very powerful motivator for thinking of the one way out of those 10,000 ways that the light bulb will work.
One of the things I imagine that you're dealing with a lot is also the chasm between sort of an old guard, folks who are more accustomed to traditional concepts in media and business and innovation, and younger people who are the millennials of the Twitter and Facebook generation. What are some of the things that you're observing in the context of areas that really excite you about how young people are approaching business, and areas where young people maybe need to learn the lessons of their forefathers and foremothers, so to speak?
Well, the first thing is with regard to leveraging what the millennials are doing. If you look at, for example, one of these devices,
Sure.
it is becoming such an endpoint to connect across the globe. Not just for making a phone call, but for
entertainment, information, experience.
Well, take it a step further. For example, can you imagine that in a couple of years you're going to be able to do your taxes from your telephone?
Yeah.
And just figure it out. You put your finger into your phone. Your phone's going to recognize that it's you, and it's going to go out and it's going to capture all the information associated with your payroll, your deductions and whatnot from whatever they are. Bring them back and submit them to Uncle Sam. So you can take some of these experiences that used to be painful into an actual fun experience.
Sure.
Look, I put my finger on the phone. My taxes are done. You tell everybody through your Twitter or Facebook, and all of a sudden everybody, leverages all these kind of things that are working for you. As far as learning and understanding, I think that the first thing that the millennials need to do is they need to go back to also the basics and understand how their older generation thinks.
Sure.
There needs to be a dual communication here. And then the other thing is something that was actually mentioned in one of the panels, which is they have to understand that there are also the basics that need to be kept in place, which is if you're working in a corporation, it isn't about just tweeting and having fun, but it's also about bringing profits. It's also about, how do you create that sustainable growth within your company? How is it that you adjust to the cost and then to the values of your organization? I don't know if it's a corporation or if it's a nonprofit or whatnot. So while there is this freedom that you see with the millennials, also there is this ability to focus and follow a lead that is going to be crucial in order for millennials to be well organized and effective.
One of the things, sort of in wrapping up, that I think has been really interesting about listening to a lot of the panels is being futurists. Where are we going to be in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? But I want to narrow that time frame a little bit. We're at the start of a decade, and time being this funny thing that holds some sort of symbolism. We're at the end of January. 12 months from now, I'm interested to get your perspective on what are some of the things that we will have talked about over the course of 2010 with regards to developments in business or thinking or outsourcing, or what are some of the things that you're interested in and perhaps can point to say 2010 will be the year of X? Just sort of put that out there, see if you have any thoughts in that regard.
I think 2010 is going to be the year of planting some fundamental seeds in what's going to happen in the next 20 years. Just look at, for example, what's happening in the energy world. Unless we come up with a way to have proper, sustainable and environmental friendly ways to energize our communities, our cities, our countries, we may not have a second generation coming up. We also need to think about proper ecosystems to keep our financial services in place.
As envisioned by what's happened over the last 2 years. Sure.
Exactly. And last, biogenetics. A lot of things that are taking place within even the healthcare system need to be looked at and improved, so that imagine if people are not getting sick, the cost of healthcare will be considerably lower and so forth. So if we focus on biogenetics, nanotechnology, the financials, and energy.
Those are going to be pretty fundamental things.
If we get those right, we're going to continue to lead the world for the next 2 or 3 generations.
We really appreciate your time and the insight that you've shared with us today. You are watching MIPTALK, Conversations with the World's Most Interesting People. We're at the 2010 Innovation in Humanities Summit at Chapman University Leatherby Center.